Right now, while you are watching this, your body is making a decision about you, not based on what you ate this week, not based on whether you exercised, based on one single question. How long has it been since someone genuinely sat with you? Because your body has been tracking that since the day you were born. And it has a very specific response when the number gets too high. It starts killing you. Not slowly, not metaphorically, in ways you can measure in a blood test. In 2015, a team of researchers published an analysis that combined data from 148 studies and more than 300,000 people across multiple countries. The result landed like something no one in the field was ready for. Loneliness increases your risk of early death by 26%. Social isolation pushes that number to 29%. Living alone adds another 32%. Those numbers are not rounding errors. They put loneliness on par with smoking 15 cigarettes a day. They make it more dangerous than obesity, and the lead researcher said something after publishing the paper that almost no one has quoted since. She said the medical community treats obesity as a crisis and barely mentions this at all. But the strangest part of this story is not that loneliness kills you. The strangest part is why. Because when scientists looked at what loneliness actually does inside your body at the cellular level, they found something they were not expecting. Your body treats loneliness the same way it treats being attacked, and the reason goes back a very long time. By the end of this, you will understand something about the people in your life that most people never realize. And there is something in this story that was hidden from doctors for almost a century, not because no one looked, but because no one thought to look in the right place. Let's start with what happens inside your body when you are lonely. Not the feeling of it, the biology. In 2007, a neuroscientist named John Cacioppo at the University of Chicago published work that had taken him nearly a decade to build. Cacioppo was obsessed with a question that most of his colleagues considered too soft to study. What does loneliness actually do to a human body? Not the mood, not the feelings, the biological machinery. What he found changed the field permanently. He took lonely people and non-lonely people and put them through the same battery of tests. He looked at their blood, their cortisol levels, their sleep patterns, and the activity of genes in their white blood cells. What he found was that the lonely people's immune systems had shifted into a specific mode. Their bodies had ramped up the genes responsible for inflammation and turned down the genes responsible for antiviral defense. Think about that for a second. Not sick, not injured, lonely. And yet their immune systems had completely changed what they were doing. Their bodies were preparing for a physical attack, flooding tissue with inflammatory signals, getting ready to fight bacteria from a wound, and simultaneously pulling back from fighting viruses. The exact opposite profile of what a healthy body should be running when nothing is wrong. Cacioppo called it the conserved transcriptional response to adversity, which is a scientific way of saying your body has a setting for when the world has turned against you, and loneliness flips that switch. This wasn't a blip in the data. Other researchers ran the same tests on lonely elderly people, lonely young adults, lonely people in Denmark, in Japan, and in the United States. Every time, the same pattern. Loneliness turns on the inflammation response and turns off the defense against viruses. Your body prepares for wounds, not for you, for the world. And chronic inflammation is not a neutral state. It is a driver. It accelerates heart disease. It feeds cancer. It damages blood vessels. It is behind nearly every major chronic illness that kills people in the developed world. The mechanism is not a mystery anymore. Loneliness is not a feeling that causes sickness. Loneliness is the sickness, running quietly in the background of your bloodstream, every single day. But here's the part Cacioppo spent the rest of his career trying to explain. Why? Why would your body do this? What possible reason could evolution have for making social isolation physically dangerous? The answer, when he found it, turned out to be the same for loneliness as for hunger. Pain is a warning system. When you are hungry, your body does not simply wait. It sends a signal so sharp and relentless that ignoring it becomes almost impossible. That is the point. The discomfort is the mechanism. It pushes you toward food before you die of starvation. Loneliness, Cacioppo argued, is the same system. It is your body sending a signal so uncomfortable, so impossible to ignore, that it is supposed to push you back toward other people. The pain is not the problem. The pain is the solution. It worked for 200,000 years because the threat of social isolation